Have you ever felt like the tune that nobody notices, or even as a silent music or bit or line? Yeah, that was me. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Abraham. I'm 15 years old, and my favorite hobbies are play football, play video games, creating animations, but the most important of all, I love music. Music is one of my most favorite hobbies I ever liked. So today, I want to talk about how music overcome my loneliness. You see, I was pretty lonely in middle school, you know? It was so hard to communicate, and I had a lot of obstacles in that moment. But in the middle of all those obstacles, there was two that they were so noisy. The first one, anxiety. Anxiety because I didn't know how to socialize. It was so hard to me to socialize with people. And fear, fear of being rejected, unwanted, excluded, treated like I'm nothing. And also, it's not me. It's also part of the Mexican population. Did you know that 12% of Mexico suffers depression? Yeah, it's actually true. But not even Mexico. Even 5.7% of the world suffers depression. You see? It's kind of hard to believe, but I was almost part of that percent. But I realized something. I love to play music. So one day, I grabbed a bass and I started to play. So I want to tell you something that happened to me when I was in music class. We've been practicing a song for months, but then the guitarist had some difficulties to play. He didn't know what to play. He was forgetting the chords. So he was about to give up. But what have I done? I just sat down, grabbed my bass, and I played this little bass line. Just listen. But what did this bass line made? The guitarist suddenly played well again. He went cold turkey of playing bad. He started to play well again. You see how fast I connected with him with no words and just music? So in that moment, I realized that it's not necessary to use words to communicate with people. Just doing whatever you want, and you rapidly connect with somebody. But also, there are so many ways to connect with people without using your voice. For example, dance, by the movements that you make when you dance. Drawing, by drawing your emotion that you're feeling right now. And also cooking, by the taste. Yeah, you can notice when people's emotions just by doing whatever you love or the artistic way that you represent yourself. In that moment, so in that mental process, I literally overcome my loneliness by a simple and normal hobby. But what happens? Nowadays, people doesn't have hobbies anymore. They only scroll on their phones watching TikTok or YouTube shorts. It's actually the reality of our lives. And also, I would like to ask two questions. Have you ever felt alone? And now, I want to cordially invite you to raise your hand in this question. Have you ever helped communicate with somebody by only doing whatever you like with no words? You see, it's hard to believe, but it's actually true. They say it's a myth, but no. We can communicate in many different ways, not only one. And also, just to end, I want to say something, a little phrase that it's powerful. We sometimes think we're lost, but the only thing we're trying to find is to be found. Thanks for your attention.